Welcome. I'm Richard Hosnut, your host, the Wisdom Inspired Life YouTube channel. In this series, I share personal stories from my spiritual journey, which started with ignorance of spirituality and God. Today, spirituality is the most important part of my life, and I deeply love God. That is quite a change. This series of video episodes covers my spiritual journey from early in life, when I still had no idea what a spiritual journey was, to 2025, when I know that I am a very spiritually advanced human. I focus on both the events that I knew were spiritual in nature when they happened, and events that I know were spiritual only by looking back at them from the perspective of today. In the episodes, I share the specifics of the event where appropriate, relating them to previous events in my life, and how they led me to future events. Let's start at the beginning. Almost nothing in my first 20 years of life would have suggested that I'd ever be on a spiritual journey. My parents were not spiritual. They immigrated from the Netherlands independently, met in the United States, and were married. I was born in Salem, Massachusetts, a town known for a bit of weirdness because of its history of witchcraft. The Salem witch trials were a series of hearings and prosecutions between February 1692 and May 1693. More than 200 people were accused, 30 were found guilty, and 19 were executed by hanging, 14 women and 5 men. While I was born in Salem, I grew up in a small town north of Boston. My parents taught my brother and me the value of integrity and hard work. Although these qualities may not be considered spiritual by most standards, they are often seen as character traits of a good person. Reflecting on the past, my parents did make an effort to send us to Sunday school occasionally, despite our repeated protests. In total, we probably attended Sunday school about 4 times over more than a decade. From a very young age, I was taught the importance of learning at a very high level. This involved doing quality homework every day and producing grades in all elementary classes that consistently ranked in the top 5% of the class. My stay-at-home mother consistently supported and encouraged this. Reflecting on my past, I am truly grateful for the positive learning environment my mother fostered, which made education something I eagerly anticipated and thoroughly enjoyed. Later in life, this consistently opened new doors to learning. Even in elementary school, I was one of the library's best customers. I often brought home 5 library books each week. I greatly enjoyed exploring new topics, and that sense of fun persisted throughout my life. In junior high school, I still took some books from the library, but my primary source was joining a book club. I would order 5 to 7 new books every month, including fiction and nonfiction. If you couldn't find me someplace expected in the house, you could always find me curled up in a corner reading a book. Looking back, even at this early stage of life, I developed a lifelong interest in learning. It was not unusual for me to do a deep dive with several books on a particular nonfiction topic before moving on to a new topic. I had a fondness for familiar topics, and seeing a book on a topic I had never heard of, I immediately wanted to learn more. My interest in reading is still very high 50 years later, but with the changes in technology, I have increasingly added learning about topics through video. I highly recommend developing this personal habit. For me, it has made the world much more interesting, understandable, and fascinating. It's directly and indirectly it has fostered and supported a wide range of growth, with the greatest being my spiritual growth. In the next episode, I continue sharing experiences from my first 25 years that played a pivotal role in my overall development, especially my spiritual journey. Thank you very much for listening.